Excuse me, Miss Mitchelson. Would you mind explaining why you're taking the day off so suddenly? There's a lot of work I need you to do for me today. I've noticed you've been taking much more time off after coming back from maternity leave. I hope you're not planning to use the fact that you waited until you were 41 to have your first child as an excuse to slack off at work. The pregnancy must have been hard on your body considering your age, but you're the one who made the choice to get pregnant. That's neither my fault nor this company's. I understand that you must be happy after finally conceiving after being married for 15 years, but you still have your responsibility to this company. This is your job. I expect you to do it.
Good morning, Mr. Sanders. I'm terribly sorry for calling in with such late notice.
If you've got time to apologize, then you've got time to work.
I explained the reason I took the day off to Nancy. She's the one who answered when I called in the morning. My daughter suddenly got a high fever. I was worried about whatever she may have spreading to the other kids at her daycare. So I decided to keep her home from school today. I was just about to take her to the doctor, and since I don't know how long I'll be waiting, I thought it best to take the whole day off.
A fever? Oh, come on, that's probably just a cold. Why get so worried over just a stupid cold? Put the kid to sleep and turn on the TV for them or something. I need you here!
Mr. Sanders, my daughter is only a year old, and fevers can be caused by a number of things. It could be something serious, and I don't want to take that risk with my child.
Stop dodging the issue! You know full well this is our busiest time of the year, Mitchelson. Do you have any idea what kind of burden your absence is putting on the rest of the employees?
I'm really sorry about causing trouble for everyone else, but it's my primary responsibility to look after my daughter's health and well-being as her mother. I can't leave her behind and go to work in these circumstances.
Of course you can!
I think any mother would feel the same way as I do. I'm taking today off, Mr. Sanders.
I don't believe this. If that's your attitude toward work, you're fired!
Mr. Sanders, you're the office manager. You don't have the authority to fire me.
So what? I can just tell my superior about your continued insubordination and he'll fire you. There's nothing you do in your job that couldn't be handled by anyone else. I've said it before and I'll say it again. No one is irreplaceable, especially not you, Mitchelson.
Oh, is that so? Then go ahead and fire me.
What?
I can't leave my child alone at a time like this. I'd be neglecting my responsibility as her parent.
Ha! So you're choosing your child over your job. Have it your way. Enjoy unemployment. That should teach you not to cross me.
Hi, Megan. How's your daughter doing?
Much better, thank you. The doctor prescribed us some medicine. She's sleeping soundly right now.
That's great to hear.
Thanks for asking.
By the way, Mr. Sanders came into the office earlier and said that you were fired? I thought you were just taking the day off to care for your daughter. Did something else happen? I was so shocked to hear that.
I'm sorry to have worried you, Nancy. He said that he'd fire me if I put my daughter first, so I told him to go ahead and fire me.
Wow. What is he thinking? We're totally lost around here without you. He told me that I'll be in charge of all your old duties now?
Oh, about that. I thought that something like this may happen, so I put together a manual some time ago to keep things moving smoothly while I'm gone.
You did? Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
However, that was something I started doing under the previous manager. You remember Mr. Rogers? He retired about a year ago. When Mr. Sanders came in as a replacement, he told me that it was a waste of time and to stop working on it.
That's ridiculous! A waste of time? What is wrong with him?
Oh, don't worry. There was a pre-existing manual, titled Manual 5. So I kept working on my manual in secret and attached it to the end of the old one. It's in my personal folder in the shared cloud storage, so go ahead and copy it into yours. If possible, do it at a time when Sanders isn't around. It might get messy if he found out about it.
Gotcha. Let me look for it. Oh, found it!
Excellent! There are some technical things that are difficult even with the manual, so it might take some time to get used to everything.
Hey, it's better than nothing. Thanks so much, Megan.
Let me know if I can help you out in any way.
Seriously, though, how can they fire you? Mr. Sanders must be out of his mind. I'm gonna go and give him a piece of my mind after lunch.
Nancy, it's okay. Calm down. I don't want you to go getting yourself in any trouble. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. For now, I think it's best if you keep your head down.
But Megan...
It's okay, Nancy. Do you think I would just let myself get fired without having a plan in mind?
A plan?
I know it may be hard to wait, but everything will become clear soon enough.
Hello, Miss Mitchelson? Would you mind coming back to work right now? It's a mess over here. Miss Mitchelson!
Good morning, Mr. Sanders.
Oh, good, you're there. Now please, come into work!
I'm sorry. I was under the impression I wasn't working there anymore.
Nothing official has happened yet. You're still an employee on the books.
I'm afraid I'm not. I've already tendered my resignation to the main office.
What's the main office? Aren't I your immediate superior? Why would you go over my head like that?
Because upper management lost their confidence in you.
That's impossible!
Didn't you hear that our office is merging with the branch in the neighboring city?
You knew about that?
You're being demoted, aren't you, Mr. Sanders?
How did you know about that?
I made a report to upper management about the way you treated me when I took the day off to take care of my daughter. They called me in to personally apologize, and they told me everything.
They apologize for what? I didn't do anything wrong!
In the middle of the corporate push to support employees with young children, you tried to force me to come into work rather than take care of my sick daughter. And when I refused to come in, you told me to, quote, put the kid to sleep and turn on the TV for them or something. That's quite an irresponsible thing to say, don't you think? And to top it all off, you told me I was fired when you had no authority to do so.
But why would they shut down the whole office?
If you don't understand why, that just goes to show your incompetence as a manager.
What do you mean?
Not to blow my own horn, but I was carrying quite a lot of weight on my back at that office. When I became pregnant and was about to give birth, I talked to the previous manager, Mr. Rogers, and decided to start making a manual for my job. Unfortunately, Mr. Rogers retired due to an illness. And when you took his place, you told me that the manual was, quote, a waste of time, and told me to stop working on it. Even though I was just a few days away from completing it, I finished it in secret anyway.
You kept working on that stupid thing?
Even with the manual, though, my job is highly technical and difficult for an inexperienced person to pick up in a short amount of time. In short, you fired someone who was doing a job that no one else at the office was capable of doing.
I did.
And as a result, the company was unable to find someone who they could train to do that job. The office's performance declined precipitously to the point that even ordinary work could no longer be done. So, upper management swiftly took action and decided to merge our office with the one in the neighboring city, where they do have an employee capable of and experienced in doing my job.
Why don't you just come back to work then? That'd solve everything.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Why not?
While the circumstances are unfortunate, I had been planning to retire for some time now.
You were?
My husband is set to receive a substantial promotion at the company he works for. And as a result, we're moving to a location that's too far away for me to continue working there. I was just about to speak to you about this when you made the decision to fire me.
Oh no.
So, it looks as though the merger is inevitable at this point.
I can't believe it. Why is this happening to me? Wait, the manual. You finished it, right? Where is it?
Wouldn't you like to know?
If I can get my hands on it, we might be able to avoid the merger.
I'm sorry, but I've already handed it over to upper management.
No!
When I told them I gave it to Nancy, they said they would greatly appreciate me giving it to them to use at the new location. They were quite happy to receive it.
No way! What about me? What am I going to do now?
That's something you'll have to think about on your own.
I climbed all the way up to office manager.
I'll be going now.
I was on my way up! I was going places!
Do take care of yourself, Mr. Sanders. Farewell.
I was the office manager!
Hi, Megan. It's nice to talk to you again.
Hi, Nancy.
How are things?
Me, my husband, and my daughter are all doing great, thanks. How are things going at the new branch office, Nancy?
It's great. I'm finally getting the hang of your job now. That manual was a really big help.
Glad to hear it.
Oh, by the way, about Sanders?
What about him?
He got fired.
He did?
Yeah, this new girl in the office he had his eyes on for a while announced that she was getting married, and Sanders went absolutely nuts.
Wow.
He broke a bunch of the office equipment on his way out, too. I heard he got hit with $20,000 in damages that he's got to pay off now.
That man is something else, isn't he?
I also found out recently that Sanders had been divorced twice. Kinda makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I believe that in a heartbeat.
The guy is just plain nuts. Oh, hey, my boyfriend's here, so I gotta run.
Good for you. You have a date today?
Yeah, we're going to the zoo.
Have fun.
Thanks, will do. Talk to you later.
I was wondering how a guy like him managed to become regional manager. But it turns out he had been taking credit for his subordinates' work. This all came to light during the merger. So Sanders was already hanging on to his job by a thread. Then when he had his outburst in the office, it was all that upper management could take and they got rid of him. He was put on leave without pay the next day, and the next time he was seen in the office, he was packing up his things. No one said anything to him, no goodbyes or miss yous. Such a sad way to go. He's now living on his own in a tiny apartment near the old office. But he seems to be unable to find a job paying as much as he was making before getting fired. So he's currently working multiple jobs and gradually chipping away at the $20,000 he owes the company.
Angela, is Dan okay? I'm a bit worried about him. We were supposed to meet today, but I haven't been able to get into contact with him. I really need to see him today, no matter what. It's quite the emergency. Oh, hi, Sandra. I'm so sorry. The thing is, I wasn't feeling very well today, and Dan has been taking care of me at home all day. Oh, is that so? If that's the case, please give Dan back his phone. I would like to get in touch with him. I think there's a misunderstanding or something because I don't have Dan's phone with me. Then why hasn't he been responding to any of my messages? It's just not like him. I mean, this really is an emergency. I need to talk to him. The sooner the better. I really do apologize. I'll tell him to contact you as soon as possible. It seems like he had just forgotten to respond to you. I apologize on his behalf. I've kept him quite busy today. No, it's fine. Your health is more important, so I'm glad he's taking care of you. You're pregnant, so it makes sense that Dan would prioritize you over anyone else. Yes, I'm really glad that Dan is by my side. I don't know what I would do without him. But I'm really sorry about today. He should have let you know earlier. Please don't apologize, dear. It's really okay. I understand the situation now, so could you do me a favor and make sure Dan calls me sometime soon? You want him to call you? Yes, I just thought that it wouldn't be too hard to make a quick call from home while he's taking care of you. I won't ask anything more. Just one call. Like I said, it really is an emergency. But I guess if you don't want him making calls right now, I don't have any other choice but to respect that. Oh, no! I don't mind at all. Of course, you guys should talk on the phone. In fact, why don't I just tell him to go see you? I've been feeling a lot better, so it wouldn't be a problem at all. Oh, really? I feel bad for taking him away from you. Are you sure you don't mind? I'm sure you're going through a lot right now and need Dan to look after you. Oh, it's completely okay. Please don't worry about it. Dan promised you to meet, so he should keep his promise. You are such a wonderful wife. I'm really glad Dan married you. Okay then, if Dan can come see me right now, that would be great. I'm sorry again for the trouble. No need to apologize. It's really no problem at all.
Hey, Angela. I'm picking some things up from the store. Need anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you so much for asking.
Sure. You been feeling okay?
I think I'll be okay. It seems like the baby is okay as well. It still hurts a bit where I got hit, but other than that, I'll be able to have the baby without any problems.
I see. I'm really glad everything is okay. I've been so worried about you. Who in the world would do something so atrocious? It's just vile. I swear, if I ever find who did this, I don't know what I'd do to them.
It's okay, Dan. Just stay by my side. The police are investigating the incident and they will handle everything. I'm just so relieved the baby is safe. I feel so much better just knowing that.
Still, how can I stay calm in a situation like this? To barge into the house and assault you and the baby? No matter how you look at it, it's just completely absurd. Not to mention utterly infuriating. Do you still remember what the guy looked like?
I told the police everything, but his face was hidden. I don't have anything to identify him by.
Damn it. What am I supposed to do now?
Don't worry about it, Dan. Just leave it to the police to handle things. I really need you right now. I know you have a lot on your mind, but the only thing I want from you is for you to hold my hand through this.
Okay. For now, I'll just head to the hospital. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Dan. I'm really happy I get to see you today.
Angela, I need to tell you something, and it's not going to be easy to hear.
Oh, what happened? Aren't you at work right now?
I took the day off work. Or should I say, it was a no-call, no-show. Anyways, that's not important. I found out something about the incident.
You did? What about the incident?
First of all, there were apparently 2 people there. One was the lookout, who stayed outside the whole time.
There were 2 people? I thought there was only one guy involved, so that's what I told the police.
I actually got a message from one of the 2 people involved in the incident. The lookout. He saw the details of what happened on the news and decided to call us.
He called us? Why would he call after committing such a crime?
He couldn't handle the guilt after everything that happened. The 2 guys are part of a crime syndicate, working odd jobs as a cover-up during the day. Apparently, the guy who called didn't know that the job involved punching a pregnant woman.
The job? I don't understand.
Someone hired them to make sure you have a miscarriage. And the person who hired them?
Who was it? Did you find out?
It was my mother.
What? Your mother? What in the world?
I know. I was so shocked, it took a while to process.
Please tell me everything you know.
I don't know how, but my mother was able to get into contact with one of the guys through her connections. After the guy got paid, he headed to our house to do the job. He took one of his subordinates to make sure someone was on the lookout, but didn't tell him what the job involved.
Does that mean the reason why your mother wanted to see you that day?
Yeah. She wanted to make sure you were all alone at the house. The names of the 2 guys are Jones and Manson.
This guy, Manson. What's he going to do now?
When he called me earlier, he told me he was going to turn himself in. It's only a matter of time before Jones is arrested as well. I also already contacted the police. I'm sure my mother will be taken in any time soon.
Why would your mother do something like this? I can't believe it. She was always so kind to me.
A few years ago, my mom started acting a bit strange after my dad passed away. I guess she couldn't handle the grief of losing him and started becoming attached to me as a result, I think. Since I'm her only son and all. She had always been a bit overprotective since I was little, but it just got worse and worse these past few years.
How do you mean by worse? How?
She never let it out in front of you, but she would always talk about you behind your back. She was always complaining about how much she didn't like you and how much she disapproved of you as my wife. She was also against us having a child together. She would throw fits about it all the time. By the time you were already in your last month of pregnancy, it seemed like she had given up and accepted the fact that the child was going to be born. That's why I let down my guard and I thought everything was okay. I never in my wildest dreams thought she was capable of something like this.
Does that mean that your mom was afraid that once the baby was born, you wouldn't have time for her anymore?
I'm almost certain that's the case here. She always wanted me to prioritize her over anyone else. I should have noticed earlier. The signs were all there. Damn it!
It's not your fault at all, Dan. Please don't blame yourself for this. I also was so focused on having our child that I might have been neglecting your mom a bit as well. I could have been more attentive. That's why I can understand if she doesn't like me.
That's not true at all. You've been nothing but kind and respectful towards my mother. Even though you were pregnant, you did your best to make sure my mother felt satisfied. There's no reason for her to disapprove of you. With you carrying our baby, you are my priority, no matter what. So I had no choice but to leave my mother to take care of herself for the time being. Even so, there's absolutely no excuse to hire someone to assault you in order to cause a miscarriage. That's just beyond insane.
I have to agree here. I don't think I can forgive her for this. She crossed the line. But at the same time, I can't help but think that the baby might have died because of me. I should have done more.
Angela, stop. Don't say that. Please. You have no responsibility in this matter. Don't blame yourself for my mother's reckless behavior. Our child survived. They were strong. Strong enough to overcome this horrid and malicious attack. We are going to protect this baby together from now on. We need to stay strong together. Don't you think so?
You're right. Thanks, Dan. I don't know what I would do without you. Oh, I just got a message from your mom. What should I tell her?
You did. Hold on a second before you reply. We need to be really careful with what we say and make sure she doesn't get the upper hand. I think we shouldn't say anything about the incident to her just yet. Angela, are you okay? How are you doing? To think that something like this could happen. Some men barged in and assaulted you, right? I heard you were at the hospital recovering. You must be in a lot of pain. I hope you get better soon. And poor child. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm really heartbroken as well.
Oh, just cut the act. I swear I'll never forgive you for this.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, Dan, but I can't hold it in. I just can't.
What? I don't understand what's going on. Why are you getting all upset, dear?
I already know this is all you're doing. There's no use in trying to play dumb. You hired a guy named Jones to come and assault me, right? We have evidence.
Just hold on. What in the world are you talking about? I would never do something like that. How could you even assume that I was a part of this? I'm quite hurt.
Oh, so you really are going to try and play dumb. Are you sure that's what you're going to choose to do here? The more you try to cover up your crime, the worse the consequences will be later on. Are you really okay with that?
Well, I don't even understand what's going on, so I really don't know what to say. What crime? Who is this guy? Jones? I don't know anyone that goes by that name.
Okay, then why did you know it was two men who committed the crime?
I mean, it was on the news.
I told the police that there was only one guy involved. Which means the fact that there was more than one person involved shouldn't have been announced on the news.
What?
I just found out just now that there was one more guy named Manson who was working as the lookout. So, how did you know it was more than one guy?
I mean, you know. Yeah, these sorts of incidents usually involve a pair of guys working together, no?
What a pathetic excuse to make. I don't even care anymore. You're just one shameful fool, aren't you? Do you even feel any remorse about what you did? How dare you? A fool? You've got to be kidding me. You're the one who used my son Dan just so you could have a child. You're the fool who doesn't think about anyone but herself. Huh! I used Dan? Are you serious? I know you don't even actually love Dan. You don't care about him. I already heard from him that it was your dream to raise your own child. For you, the father could have been anyone as long as you could have a child. Am I wrong? Yes, it's true that it was my dream to be a mother. But what does that have to do with anything? It's not like Dan was against the idea. He also wanted to have a child as well. You never said anything to me about having a child either. In fact, you said you were happy for me. So now, after months of being pregnant, you want to complain about it? I told Dan many times about how I felt, but that kid never listened to me when it came to you. He just kept being stubborn. I know you probably made Dan go against me, didn't you? He was always a good boy, listening to me obediently. Until you came along. I didn't even know you were against the pregnancy in the first place. He probably hid it from me because he was embarrassed about how pathetic you seemed. Understandable. A child born from a mother like you is way more pathetic if you ask me. Don't make Dan waste his life away raising a child like that. He deserves better. If you cared about him even a little bit, you would let him go. You know what? I really do feel for the fact that you lost your husband. I know it must have been hard. But that doesn't give you the right to control your son like this. You need to take responsibility for your own baggage. You don't know anything. My husband and my son are the reason I keep living. Everything I did for them. After my husband died, the only family I had left, you took away from me. How could you possibly understand how I feel? You have no right to lecture me like this. Took him away? That couldn't be further away from the truth. Dan is a grown adult who is capable of making his own decisions. And besides, Dan always tried to make time for you. Why are you being so selfish? Do you even care about how Dan feels? Whatever. At least Dan understands the situation clearly now. He must have realized how much I truly love him. Hopefully, he'll reflect on his actions and choose better this time. Reflect on his actions? How did you expect him to react? Dan already reported you to the police. Not only that, but he plans to cut you out of his life. What?
Mom, it's Dan.
Oh, Dan, I'm so glad. You understand how I feel now. I did this all for you. You know how much I care about you, right? You're going to prioritize me from now on, right?
I'm sorry to say that I don't consider you my mother anymore. The police are trying to find you right now. Either stay at home until they get there or turn yourself in. There's no way you'll get out of this.
How could you say that to your own mother? After everything I've done for you, this is what you do to me?
You are a criminal, okay? In fact, you are practically a murderer. Do you understand that?
What? That's ridiculous. I was just doing what was best for our family.
That guy Jones ended up hesitating a bit before punching Angela in the stomach, and the impact wasn't as strong. Who knows what would have happened if he had attacked Angela full force?
Isn't it all okay now, then? It's not like Angela had a miscarriage. The baby is safe. I feel bad about what I did. So let's just let bygones be bygones and raise the child together. Let's start over. I really give up this time.
There is something seriously wrong with you. Don't tell me about how bad you feel now. Save it for the police.
The police? What, I'm getting arrested too?
Obviously. Hiring someone to commit a crime is a crime in and of itself. And I could never forgive you for harming my precious wife and child. You crossed the line.
Please, don't do this to me. Don't leave me alone like this. I swear, I'll die. I was just so lonely. It was so painful. Losing my husband. The grief that was just too much and I couldn't recover from it. I made a foolish mistake is all.
I know it must have been difficult losing your husband, but trying to end the life of an unborn baby is absolutely inexcusable. Did you really think I would forgive you for doing this? Please, just don't say anything anymore. It's really painful seeing my mother in such a pitiful state.
You think I'm pitiful? I'm happy to hear that. That you still care about your mother.
I'm not actually pitying you. You're just too pathetic to look at right now.
Fine. Whatever. I don't care what happens anymore. If I'm gonna get arrested, might as well fight to the end and go all out.
Fight till the end? What do you mean by that? Let's just calm down now.
I'm already in front of the hospital. Come out.
Hey, what are you thinking of doing? Knock it off! You've done enough already. Huh. Why is the emergency alarm going off? What did you do?
Oops. What do you know? I punched the nurse at the reception. If things were going to end up like this, I should have taken matters into my own hands from the beginning.
What the? I just heard that you're holding a knife. You need to stop right now!
Oh, the knife? I'm gonna make sure to take that baby out of your wife's stomach. Just you wait, little one. I'll save you from your misery. Oh no, look what I've done. Gosh, I just stabbed the security guard on accident.
Stop, just stop! I beg you, just calm down already!
Dan, what happened? Is everything alright?
My mom was finally arrested. The nurse at the reception suffered light injuries. As for the security guard that was stabbed, it thankfully wasn't life-threatening, since it was his shoulder. It seems like he'll be able to have a complete recovery with no after-effects.
I'm really relieved. I was so worried. I thought I would have a heart attack when I heard what was happening. But how about you, Dan? Didn't you suffer some injuries as well?
Oh, it was nothing. Just some small cuts. Honestly, it's a bigger deal that my designer shirt is all damaged now.
Just come back to the hospital room as soon as possible. I just want to make sure you're okay. And I just need you by my side right now.
I'm still being questioned by the police, but I'll go to you as soon as it's all finished.
Sorry. I know you have a lot to process as well. This must have been a lot for you, too.
No, I feel a lot better now. It's okay. There's just one thing I'm really scared about.
What? What is it?
I've been getting non-stop calls from my workplace. Probably because I didn't show up at work today.
After the incident, Jones, Manson, and Sandra were all sent to prison to do time for their crimes. Consequently, an undercover police officer infiltrated the crime syndicate that Jones and Manson were a part of. After the syndicate was taken down, the peace of the town was restored. With Sandra gone, Dan and I have been able to enjoy our married life together with no one to bother us. I was able to safely give birth to our child, and the three of us now live together as one happy family. Seeing my child grow up little by little gives me so much happiness, but I don't think I'll ever be able to let my guard down again when it comes to the safety of my family and the security of our home.